everybody. How's everyone doing tonight? I'm just gonna wait till you guys join a little, and then I'm gonna bring in Paul. And I'm so happy that you guys are joining us. Lots of people here tonight. That's so awesome. Yeah, Merry Christmas in July. I admit I have not watched any Christmas, but okay, I'm gonna put Paul on. I don't even know if he's, come on, Paul. Oh my gosh, I have to search for him. It's so funny. He's not even like, hold on. Okay, he's here. Maybe he will accept my friend request. Paul, will you be my friend? Why aren't you coming up? That's so weird. I'm waiting. This is so funny. Hi, I see that you're here. Okay, I sent you a request. There you are. Okay, you went to the top. Complicated. Super complicated.
And we're live. Hi.
Hi.
How you doing? Oh, so good. It's so good to see your face.
Oh, it's so good to see yours too. You just
I love your post. You posted the most ridiculous picture. You're on your last day of quarantine? Oh, how's it gone for you?
For me, it's great. Like, it actually was amazing because I'm with Mary Lou and we're having a blast together and like so much fun. So it made it so much less horrible than being alone for 2 weeks in a very small confined place, you know? So we have each other, and where we're staying is really fabulous, and
is it?
and enjoying it. Cool. Yeah, but I don't know where you are exactly, and I worry for anyone that's by themselves for the quarantine.
Well, somebody called me from the government today, and they're I'm just gonna close my window.
They check on you from the government to make sure that you're adhering to all the guidelines and making sure that you're okay. They called me a couple times too. And it was all great.
The woman was really considered. She's like, "Do you need anything?" I'm like, "What do you mean? Like, you're gonna bring me dish soap or what?"
It's the Canadians. They're so nice. They're the nice. We know this because I've been working here for 20 years. Canadians are so nice. If our government called, I'd be scared. But Canadian government calls and they're like, "Can we help you with anything? Do you need anything?"
I know I was surprised. First of all, she asked for my address, and I'm like, you should have my address. It's like, I was a little sus because it came up unknown number. I'm like, why am I going to give you my address? But then she found it, and I was like, yeah.
Where you said you were going to be.
I think so, but she was so sweet. She's like an auntie that I never had. I was like,
she asked me the same questions. She actually fangirled a little bit because she said, "Can you name the people that are you quarantining with anyone else?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Can you name the people in your household?" And I said, "Yes, Mary Lou Henner." And she went, And then she went, "Oh, wait, is this actually the Candace Cameron Bure?" And I go, "Yeah, it is." And she was like, "Oh my gosh."
Ooh. Yeah, she didn't do that. She didn't do that to me.
No, she didn't.
She didn't. No. I love the picture that you sent, or the video of me licking the camera.
Do you remember that, Paul? I went through and scrolled through all our old pictures from the movie.
Yeah.
And I was laughing so hard because I'm like, oh my gosh, Paul was making love to the camera. Because
I know, and I
Paul Greene.
Yes, I know. I was being a little silly, but I am a little bit nuts. I'm just gonna I forgot to grab my tea. I have a tea in a rhinoceros cup.
I'm eating dinner, so
Well,
I hope you don't mind.
No,
That's
no,
so
you should
cute.
eat
I
dinner.
love that mug.
This one's a horse, but I do have a rhino somewhere. There's so many people, Candace, that just love you. Whenever I meet them at these Christmas conventions or on the street, they're always their favorite movie is our Christmas Detour movie. People just love it. Yeah. It was
So
funny.
nice. I love hearing that. It was such a fun movie. Someone just asked, are you seriously eating? And yes, I'm seriously eating because it's 6:30 and it's my dinner time. So I'm sorry, I'm eating.
So when do you go to bed? When do you go to bed? Are you in bed by 9 or 10?
Okay, Mary Lou and I start to actually make dinner at 5, and we made it a little bit later because she had a Zoom call, and then I had this with you. But like, this is late for me to be eating dinner. I prefer to eat dinner at 5:30 or 6.
So do you really? And then do you fast? Do you fast the evening? Do you snack later, or do you just like whatever?
No, then I'm done, and then I guess I technically intermittently fast, although I don't consciously do it because I don't eat breakfast. I just have matcha in the morning, and then my first meal is like 11:30 a.m. or noon.
Oh wow. Okay. So lunch is your biggest. I'm working with this awesome nutritionist, and he's like, when the sun is at its highest is when your biggest meal should be. He goes, because your digestion is hot in the sun, especially for men, but women are similar with the digestion. He's phenomenal. In quarantine, he has me every hour set my phone like an alarm, and I do push-ups, squats. I get on my rebounder, and I do crunches every hour. He's like, it's like a bit of a quarantine. You too?
No, sorry. I'm listening to you, and I'm reading comments too. I'm like, hi, Bob. Like it's both. I'm interacting.
Your mom came on?
No, Bob. My friend Bob.
Oh. Right on. Yeah. Well,
so
my mom is
working out every hour.
Every hour. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I like it. And
I do my workouts in the morning and then or the afternoon, but I do it, in my little hour or 2 hours, and then I'm done.
You also do those workouts with your trainer for other people to follow along. That's so cool.
Yeah.
She's hardcore.
She's awesome.
She's hardcore. You're hardcore.
She's so good. I love her. She's one of like my closest friends. We've just bonded. I mean, it was like a trainer relationship that turned into just a friendship. And she's awesome. But it's been really fun during quarantine. We've been working out on live every Monday morning, and like just to get people moving, and it's been awesome. So we like created our own little tribe of people. So it's super cool.
You look so great. Did you do your makeup for this live? You look awesome.
No, I don't have. I put mascara. Oh gosh, I didn't even put it on the bottom. No, I just put some mascara on. That was it.
You look all glows.
Did you put makeup on, Paul?
Do I? Yes, I have so much. Sparks of Comedy asked what a rebounder is. That's my rebounder there.
Yeah,
it's my one tool that I can't live without. I think it's the answer to like immune system stuff, aging stuff. It's just amazing, and it's fun. You're smiling the whole time. You're like,
I know, it's like your little kid jumping. That's what I like. Any exercise that's fun keeps me moving. Like, I just have to have fun. You were so sweet, Paul. By the way, I didn't listen to the whole thing. I want to listen to it, but you did the Bubbly Sesh interview, and they had the little clip of it, and you were like, Candace likes to laugh, and she's like, you said the sweetest things. It was so nice.
Yeah, I mean it. People always. I'm just gonna turn off my things.
Oh no, you went away.
It's about. Because I turned off the nobody can call me while I'm on.
Okay.
I do so many lives. I've been doing lives almost every day with my guitar. Like I have like a whole music kind of set up with that background over there.
Oh, awesome.
And so I always put it on Do Not Disturb, because then, or else someone calls in the middle of your live. Yeah, I always say, people ask me who's your favorite to work with, and honestly, you're the one that I laughed the most with, and so I like to have fun. So if I'm not having fun, I'm not. Life can, like, we have a choice. You can have fun, and you're easy to have fun with.
I'm so with you. I like to have fun too. I always say life's too short to work with like mean people or awful people or, you know.
Yeah,
I know
to
Oliver
Oliver
always
Hudson.
choose.
You what?
I said we can't always choose who we work with,
You
but
can't, but you can always choose. You can always choose your experience.
Positive and fun, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, I like having fun, laughing.
Oliver Hudson said the same thing to me about you when we were talking about you and acting, and
when were you
he said that you and
me?
with Hudson.
Yeah.
Why were we talking about you?
No, like what were you? Was it like an interview thing, or were you on his podcast?
No. After he's my buddy. After he did the movie with you.
Oh.
Because I had done one.
He was funny.
I think our. Yeah. He said the same thing. He's like, we just had such a great time, laughing, and
yeah.
I think what made our movie really fun too was having obviously Ron Oliver as our director.
I know. I want to know
having
everyone watching everyone commenting right now. If you guys have any questions about A Christmas Detour, to like type those in, and then we'll try to get to them. But yeah, Ron Oliver, oh, so much fun. Like, I just adore him.
Me too. And Barbara and Sarah and everybody. It was a great cast. Did you work have you worked with Ron since that movie? No, I had worked with him like a month before with Danica, and then the schedules, like, you know how hard it is to schedule. Like, I want to do another movie with you like yesterday, but there's to get these things to line up, the stars have to align, especially because I have 5 months on When Calls a Heart. I only have a couple months to do a picture, and it's for that till, and I know you're like booked for the next 17 years or something. But you know, we have to do another one. I think that we have to find out where Paige and Dylan, if they get married, like, I think there should be something, and, you know, we continue the Frank and Maxine story a little bit. I think it'd be fun. It'd
be super fun. Or we could do like a totally new movie and just be totally different people.
Yeah, that's fun to be that too. But, yeah, I would take.
What?
No,
I'm
looking at
some of the questions. We're going to talk over each other. Am I freezing for you?
No, you're warm.
Okay. You're so funny, Paul. Some people ask, like, where did we film it? We actually filmed it in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And it was really hot. We filmed it in June or July.
Right, it was so hot.
Because
it was around this time.
Here's the thing. As I was scrolling through all the pictures, remember we had a weekend off, and Paul and I went on a helicopter ride because there was a helicopter in the movie, and then we took a private helicopter. Was there a helicopter in the movie? Actually, no. We shot in their hangar.
The green screen stuff for the car, yeah.
We shot in the helicopter hangar, and then I knew his name's Alan, who was the pilot for the helicopters, and he said, if you guys want to go out, I'll take you. So on our weekend, we went out and took a helicopter ride, which was amazing. It was so beautiful, and it was like a warm summer day, because we shot this, I believe, in June or July, and then he took us up into the mountains, and then there was snow on the mountains. But here's the funny thing. I have denim shorts on. And
the same ones? The exact same ones? I have the same
denim shorts on right now, which I didn't know as I was scrolling through pictures. I was like, I have the same shorts on, like from 6 years ago. I mean, the Levi's, they don't go out of style. But yeah, I'm wearing the shorts we wore on our little helicopter tour.
I love that. I don't know if Alan was as thrilled that I came along. I think he was excited about a little private helicopter trip. And then I show up and he's like, okay, we'll take the big guy too.
Aww.
And then I took I took his number and I took my mom up later that on the next movie or something I came up, and I think he liked me more then, but he let me fly it. He let me fly it.
Really?
It was so free. It was so cool. I was like, okay. It made me really badly want to get my pilot's license or my helicopter license.
Yeah, for sure. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Your mom was so cute. Your mom. So Paul's mom came to the set while we were there, and she was actually like in the movie at the very end.
Yeah.
She like opened the door. She was adorable.
Yeah. She loved it. She loved you so much. I mean, she admires your family and your brother and your story, and she really likes you. She doesn't have Instagram, so maybe we can save this somehow and I can send it to her. I don't know if you can have that ability, but
okay,
yeah,
we will.
Do you know what else? Yeah, I would love. Do you know what else I remember is playing piano with you and singing the gospel songs, like some church, some like camp songs or something. And I was like, how do you know like Light of the World? I forget which one. There was a couple where I was like, you know this song? It's like some obscure camp worship song, like. And I was playing on the piano. That was really
piano.
fun.
I was trying to sing, and you were like, "Oh, okay, let me sing because I can't sing very well." You're like, "Yeah, let me just do that, Candace."
I don't think I told you
that. It was so
Hmm.
fun.
I really like when you see these movies. For us as actors, it's so interesting because when we watch it back, I don't know if it's the same for you, but every scene, there's always all the stuff that we did in the background or that day that I get reminded of. Like, I think it was at Dasher's Diner Pub and we were dancing, and I was like, great, I have to dance again with another Dancing with the Stars person because before
you had
Danica
before me.
Yeah. And I was like, awesome. But you weren't back leading. Danica was back leading. That's the difference of you two. There's obviously other differences for sure.
I let you lead.
You did. I mean, ours was like a little romantic.
It was little.
Cheaty on the boyfriend dance. Where Danica's and mine was like a ballroom kind of swing and thing. And I was like, whoa. But I could feel her pressure on her hand behind me. I was like, you're leading me.
She wants it perfect. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. She was like, she had the experience. She was going for it.
Yeah. So do you miss not doing Fuller House? Like, was that something that you wanted to continue, or like, because it was very popular, wasn't it? Like, I'm surprised when I heard that it was ending. Am I saying something?
It was popular, wasn't it?
Like, very popular. I thought it was their number one, like in Netflix's big deal. And then to hear that did some of the actors just not want to keep doing it, or?
No. 5 years is really huge for Netflix. They usually don't go past 3 years on a series. So
you did 5 years?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's just talk about A Christmas Detour.
It was something I know a little bit. No, I remember coming to your show.
Let me ask you about When Calls the Heart.
Sure.
Because that's what you're back up here for, right?
Yes, I'm back here for season 8. Season 8.
8. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I know.
Season 8.
I know. I'm so grateful to be a part of and it's the legacy of Michael Landon, and Little House on the Prairie, and it's, I don't know if you know that, but Michael Landon Jr. started the show.
Of course, I do. Yeah.
So, yeah. So it's so special to be a part of something that has that.
Aside from you, Paul.
Oh, you do?
I know some producers on there. I know some other actors on there.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I do admit, though, I did not see season 7. Like, I watched the whole show because I love When Calls the Heart, but I did not see season 7.
Oh, it was a pretty good season. We had some good moments. We have a different showrunner this year, so the stories. Yeah, but I don't know. I haven't seen any scripts yet, but I certainly have the time to read them. I think they should start sending them over, spray them with Lysol and send them over.
Are you going to have time to shoot a Christmas movie? Is that possible, or no, not with When Calls the Heart?
It would have to be with Brad because Brad's our producer. So it's I've done it twice. It's tricky though, right?
Yeah.
So it's not the easiest thing to do with scheduling, but it is especially with COVID.
Possible.
I mean, it's possible, but COVID makes everything just a little.
Everybody loves you. Everyone wants to see you in a Christmas movie. They love you on When Calls the Heart, but like you can't have a Christmas movie like the Christmas season without a Paul Greene movie.
I agree. So we'll make it happen. I'm sure something will happen.
Yeah.
It just got really hot in my room.
Did it get hot?
Really?
Did I make you blush?
Yes, you did. You made me blush. Could be the sun, and my air conditioner
It could be that.
It could be that. I'm so happy to see you. Like we know each other. We see each other at TCAs now and again, and I send you birthday
your favorite,
highs.
I mean, aside from your girlfriend, are you guys married or not married?
We're very much engaged, and we were supposed to be during. I think Katie might have popped on here. I call her my wife because it's she's my life. She's my lifer.
Okay. Yes, I know that. And aside from Katie, I think I'm your favorite person at TCAs because you talk to me about the craziest freaking stuff, Paul, and I just listen and we like talk.
No, it's your fault. You bring out the weirdest conversations. All of a sudden we're talking about something, and I'm like, I've never shared that with anybody.
It's because I'm so trusting, Paul. I look at this face. You could just say anything and you're comfortable, but I don't ask you those questions. You like spill things.
It's true. I know I'm chatty around you. Whenever we say goodbye, I'm like, there's like a moment where I have to collect my thoughts. I'm like, why did I just do that? But it happens. It happens every time.
I always get excited
when we're filming too.
When we go to these TCAs, that these are these big parties that Hallmark has, where the critics come, like every network has them, and there's hundreds of people there, and there's reporters and actors and the producers and directors. I'm trying to like explain to everybody what this is, and we all get dressed up and we're fancy, and then they show like the new lineup of what the new year's going to be on Hallmark, like what shows, what movies, all that kind of stuff. But I always they have all the tables, and again, hundreds of people, but we have little name tags where we're going to sit at what table and our seat. But I always get really happy if I'm sitting at least at the same table with Paul or anywhere near Paul, because then I know conversation's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm always
have to talk to Pam.
Paul.
I know. I got to ask Pam Slay next time just to make sure we're at the same spot, because it's the highlights. I mean, a highlight would be to do another picture soon enough, but yeah, I'll settle for a TCA for now, for sure. So this quarantine for you, so you've had a buddy. You guys are here shooting Tea Garden, right?
Yes, we're finishing the Aurora Tea Garden that we were in the middle of production when COVID hit and we got shut down. So we shot 7 days on it, and now we have to finish it. And I think I'm literally a different color because I was really pale, because this was back in March. And now I've been enjoying time in the sun and quarantine in my pool in my backyard, and I get tan. So I'm laughing at that.
It's going to be funny.
But they're going to have to Yes, they're going to have to they're going to have to lighten me up a little bit. And then after I finish the Aurora Tea Garden movie, then I'm going straight into a Christmas movie.
Oh, while you're here, they're going to take advantage of the quarantine. We're wrapping early, like November, so I could imagine them using me for something. I don't know, because that would be the latest they could do, though. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
I got a feeling there'll be some magic happen. There usually is. Something usually comes together.
Yeah. That's the hard part,
Yeah.
because it's great that we're able to, I mean, I'm so grateful that we're able to come up and work.
Shoot,
And
no
again, for
kidding.
people that are wondering, because we know the border's closed, but in British Columbia, the film industry is up and running. And so they have so many productions up here, and without their lead actors, they can't work on these films unless the lead actors come up. So that's why they are giving us the work visas to come up here and either complete movies that we haven't, or do television shows like Paul is in. And that's why there's a handful of American people that are still able to cross the border. It's all government approved. So like, don't come at us. I've had some people are like, stay out of our country, which I understand, but take it up with your government. It's all government approved that we are essential workers, in the sense so that the entertainment industry in BC, which is thriving, can continue production.
Yeah.
So,
how about,
but the thing is, we can't go back and forth. Like normally when I'm filming, I'll fly home on the weekends, but
I know.
I can't do that now. So that's why we're like finishing Aurora and going straight into the Christmas movie. And then I'm going home and don't plan on coming back up again. And
until,
you can't go back.
maybe in a few months, everything will be different though. You know, I'm hoping.
We hope.
I'm hoping.
I don't know.
Check out my view.
I'm not a pessimist, Paul, but I don't think it's going to change in a couple months. What do you guys
You don't?
think?
November.
I don't think it's going to change until they get a vaccine.
Really?
That's what I think. That's my personal opinion. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist.
I play a doctor on TV.
That is just a personal opinion. I don't think it's going to change until we get a vaccine.
That's crazy. That's crazy talk. I don't know. How about that $1 million conversation when you enter the country and the guy's like, so if you're not in your place, you will be fined up to $1 million or 3 years in prison. And I was like, baking powder? It's like, what? It's like, what if I have to go to the dentist or something? Or what if, like, I don't know, I cut myself while I'm in the kitchen. I've been cutting vegetables and things like really carefully when I usually open packages pretty rugged, and I'm like, I better open the package like this, because if I get cut, I can't just like run out to the hospital and try to explain to a court.
But if you did, yes, you could. But then your quarantine would start all over again from the beginning.
Oh, no.
Yeah. That's
really? And
but they do. Like the Canadian government is so on top of it, and it's really wonderful. And that's why they have such low rates of COVID here. So I am so happy to abide by all the Canadian regulations and rules that they have, because they are doing it right. But it is scary because you come up here and they're like, here's your visa, we're approving you to come, but if you leave your quarantine, it's $1 million fine or 3 years in prison. So I'm abiding by all.
Oh yeah, no kidding. I know, no kidding. I'm enjoying like the time to myself. I'm being so productive. It's just nuts. Like nuts.
What are you doing?
Finishing
like
a book.
I know you're singing and doing music, and what else? You're reading a lot. Reading scripts.
I'm you're what?
Reading scripts. Books?
Not yet. I haven't got them yet. I would love to read them. I'm reading other movies I've been reading. I'm finishing a book called 52 Ways to Be the Dad You Wish You Had, and it's a parenting book.
Who's that author?
Me.
Oh, you're actually finishing it.
Yeah. I'm in the second draft. Yes.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
it's a small little book for dads, like a Ernest Hemingway field guide for dads.
Cool.
That just every week, so it's also a deck of cards. Like every week, there's a card from the deck of cards, but it's a small little handbook, just of little ways to reconnect if you've lost connection with your kids for dads. And then I want to do a prison tour with it. My friend has a prison ministry, sort of. Not sort of, he does. And I want to take it, because those guys really don't necessarily have a dad that they
Yeah.
could aspire to, and just to share some of the amazing tools I got from my dad and my coach, and then from my son. Like Oliver's contributed to the book too.
That is so awesome, Paul. I love that you're doing that. Like, and
Yeah.
everything attached to it. That's so great.
Yeah, it's
I'm so
given. I
proud
really
of you.
wanted. Thank you. You're coming from someone. How many books have you written?
9?
What? I thought you were going to say like 2.
No.
You've written 9 books? That's crazy.
I know.
It's hard to focus.
It's hard.
Like, it's
That's
really
why
hard
I'm
for me to.
proud of anyone writing a book, because it's hard.
Yeah. It's
But
not
that's
easy
like,
to get to.
good.
to focus. There's so many other squirrels. There's like my guitar's calling out to me, my rebounder calling out to me, and,
Right.
and I'm like, okay, just finish this chapter, and so it's a focus is a superpower.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if you
really
can focus on one.
And it's so important. You're writing it for dads, which are for their children. It's so important.
Yeah.
And you're such
It is,
a
and my
good
dad.
son, Paul. I know how much you love your mom.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's awesome.
I do love my mom. She's pretty awesome. And my dad passed, as you know, 7 years ago. So this is dedicated to him, and to not everyone was fortunate enough to have the kind of dad that I had. So I figured, why not share some of the stories and some of the little hacks to reestablish that connection that you want. So so I'm doing that. I'm doing so many. I'm taking 3 courses. A guitar course from Paul Davids, which is phenomenal. A social media course from this guy who was Taylor Swift's music manager. So it's social media for musicians. It tells you how to get your Spotify moving and how to use YouTube and like all that. So a course on that. And then there's an engineering course I'm taking for recording, because I'm going to record while I'm up here this 5 months, a new record, and I'm learning how to do it myself while I'm alone, and like record really simple, but record a nice acoustic album. So there's a lot going on.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. I'm so happy to hear all of that. That's great.
Yeah. And so what's Mary Lou? Mary Lou, I met her, right? I met her. What's her last name?
Mary Lou Henner.
Henner, right. I think I had dinner with her and Lori at a restaurant here in Vancouver.
Yeah, we all had dinner together. And then we sat together at one of the TCAs too. Like, but yes, we all had dinner in Vancouver together with, Mary Lou,
you were
Lori,
there?
and Aaron. I was there.
Well, that's right. You were there. That's the reason Mary Lou was there. Okay. You know what? I look a lot younger than I am.
Paul, this is why you make me laugh.
You're unforgettable.
You're unforgettable.
That laugh is good. That is only you have that laugh. It's a cackle and a hackle, like together.
It's a hackle.
Yeah. So are you excited? Are you excited to get back to filming?
Yes, I'm excited, but I'm like a little bit nervous because I feel like I'm out of practice.
Candace.
I know I've been doing it for 40 years, but I feel like I'm a little out of practice, just the COVID thing. So I gotta I'm a perfectionist,
No. You're not a perfectionist.
To an extent, in certain areas of my life I am, but I'm pretty go with the flow.
You see,
but
occur to me as
performance, I have my issues. Do you know the Enneagram, Paul?
Yeah, of course.
What number are you? Let's talk about the Enneagram.
I did an Enneagram reading last time I was here. You know, I forget. There's types. It's not just a number, right?
You know what it is, but you're not really into it.
I had 6 sessions with a couple in New York, and I tried my best to have it apply, and I couldn't really figure out. what do you love about it? What number are you?
I like it because, and I know some people on here will don't like it, but what I feel
That's okay.
Is
It's okay.
It really makes sense as to how my mind works and how I think and what's important to me, and then understand the flaws in it to then help myself. And for me, ultimately, it's to pull it back to God. But then it also helps me when I know other people's number, it helps me understand how to talk and communicate to them, which is maybe different from me. And that's the biggest help in my relationships and business relationships as well, to understand what people's numbers are, because then I'm like, oh, if I know they're this number and I've studied all of them, then I know if I come from this approach, we're going to have better communication. And I'm willing to do the work and put it in, because I like getting along with people. I want the most positive parts of the relationship. I want the communication open. So I feel like if I can adjust to communicate better with someone, I'm willing to do that. And that's kind of what the Enneagram helps you do.
Okay. Yeah. I forget what now. I think I'm a 2. I have to double check my notes. What?
You definitely have a 2 in you. And whether that's your number or a wing, I would say yes. But you could be a 3-wing too. Anyway, it doesn't.
It's really. So what's the most interesting thing you learned about yourself that had made an actual significant difference from learning it from this?
Oh, that's a good question. So I'm a 3 for people asking. I'm a 3 on the Enneagram, which is like a performer, but it's not a performer because I'm an actor, but it's all the things that you do in your life, or so that you want to do them well so that you can ultimately get praise. So it doesn't mean you have to be in the arts, but if you're basically performing so that people like you, and even if you're whatever job that is, you kind of morph into whoever you think you need to be so that people like you.
Right. Okay.
And so it's interesting because obviously I have actually been an actor since I've been 5, and my whole life has been about pleasing people, doing what I'm told, and pleasing people to have a job well done. So I didn't realize a lot of the things I do are so performance based in my life, and things that have nothing to do with my work. But it's called the performer or the achiever. And I'm an achiever, to get the praise. And sometimes it's not what it's about. And I can then reflect and realize, oh, I'm coming at it from a point of view of maybe wanting the praise, or I get really disappointed if I don't get the praise, and have to understand that
totally.
It's okay. And if God knows that I've done that, if my relationship with God is in sync, I just need his audience of 1 for that praise. I'm not doing it for man. It just helps my mind focus that way. And for me, it always brings my relationship back to God.
I can so relate.
Really philosophical, Paul. What about you?
I know. No, I can totally relate, especially about doing, as a little boy, I was always doing things for approval or love or acceptance or acknowledgement. And it's only now, maybe in the last a few years, that I've really come into my own voice and my own skin, and just being to do things just because I love them, and I don't, not as a motivation to get praise and get love or acceptance from people. It's a sneaky one. You might think you're doing it because you love it, but then we're in a really tricky business because it can be very addicting, the constant barrage of admiration and acclamation, and our fans particularly are so generous and so loving. Others, there's I've only seen 1 or 2 people on this thread, that there's one guy in here that's but it's rare to see someone. It's rare to see trolls on yours or on mine. And I mean, you have such a large following that you're going to get them, but in general, our fans, and I love our fans so much because they're so generous and so kind. But what happens too is it's almost like you get in a glass bubble and it gets hard to accept criticism. So I've been just really working on being able to be with any kind of communication. If someone doesn't like what I do, to take that just as information and not take it that I, yeah. You've had a lifetime of sort of being having to deal with that. But it's interesting that we chose careers that would have us really have to face that type of a challenge head on all the time.
I know. It's you put yourself in the position, but at the same time you realize, like, listen, not everyone's going to like you in the world. They're not going to like me. They're not going to like you. Not everyone likes each other, and that's okay. But we got to let it go.
Yeah.
But some of us hang on to it longer than other people. Like my husband, like Val, he'd be like, I don't care if that person doesn't like me. Like, he doesn't think a second about it. He's just like, let it go. But I'm like, my mind doesn't think about it like that. I'm like, wait, what could I do? Like, what could I do that maybe they would like me? So that's the hard part, different personalities.
I understand.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Jesus. Let's talk about Jesus.
I love talking about Jesus. And you brought it up about me, so nobody can say on this like live that like, oh, Candace, all she can talk about is Jesus. Paul brought it up.
No. Well, I mean, that's one of the things we talked about because my relationship with God has changed so much over the years. And I'm wondering with you, like, obviously everyone's relationship changes a bit with God, but how has your relationship with God changed in the, like, let's say in the last, I mean, obviously it's not the same as it was, right? So do you find that being in this business has changed your relationship with God? I mean, that's hard to say because you've always been in this business. So that's kind of a weird question. But what has your relationship with God changed in the last, say, 10 years?
It's just become stronger.
Is that right?
I just know more and more that my life and my purpose in life is to glorify God. It's to just show everyone Jesus, to show the Savior of the world. And that's what I try to do. Of course, I have a job, but I try to make choices in my life that reflect the types of choices that either honor God or that I could stand before God and be proud of or fine with, to say like, yeah, these are the choices I've made. But everything in my life over the years, it just gets stronger and stronger to point people to Jesus.
Huh. Yeah.
You have the opposite, Paul, or has there been another like kind of circle since we've last talked about that stuff?
Well, that's one of the things I liked about working with you too, is you have a way of talking about God that's not, I wouldn't say, it's not judgy. That's actually what I shared with the Bubbly Sesh folks about.
Oh, really?
Was that you have your beliefs and but you're not, you have a way of sharing it that's not judgmental and that's open and that's, it's my relationship's changed dramatically and it keeps evolving and keeps changing all the time. I mean, I feel like I've really reconnected through my music because I've gone back to some of the music I wrote when I was my most, I guess what it would be called on fire for Jesus in my 20s, when I was playing on subway trains and passing out tracts so people didn't burn in hell on the subways in New York, and Dolce & Gabbana in Milan. The two guys, Dominic and Stefano, were like, I'm reading my Bible backstage before a runway show for Dolce & Gabbana, and they're looking at me like, what are you doing? Like, and I guitar. So all in the 20s, I've been reworking some of my older songs and revisiting them. So some of those, it's been a really powerful thing. And of course, my dad passing a lot that has brought up some things. But my relationship changes so much. I mean, God doesn't change, but I think that the position I'm standing in, and life continues to change. So it's almost like a different perspective, and
Sure.
different experiences definitely change. I'm definitely much less judgmental than I was in my 20s, and I'm more open to hearing what other people, their
Yeah.
experience, but my mom's consistently been the same, and so she's always
Yeah.
praying for us and for me, and it's an interesting journey. It's definitely gone from fear to love. That's what I would say.
That's good. That's really good.
I used to fear God, and now my motivation is not based on, again, trying to please or trying not to avoid punishment or something. It's
Right.
not fear based. The same with my parenting is.
Sure, of course. And no one should love God out of a fear of, I would say, an unhealthy fear, but there is a healthy fear of God, and we all should have a healthy fear of God. Because
what does that look like? What does that look like? What does a healthy fear of God look like?
God, and God is bigger than me and bigger than you and bigger than the world because he made it. So I need to have reverence for God, to respect that he's God, and he gave us the blueprint, he gave us the rules, he gave us the word to follow, and loves us, but he gave us grace and he gave us all of those things. But if I don't have a healthy fear of him, of no understanding that he's bigger than me, then I think you get into trouble, because then you want to create your own God in your mind that is just different from the God of the Bible. But like, God's bigger than us. So that's the healthy fear, to know that he made the world, he made the rules, but he loves us, and he like gave us so much grace and love, and Paul, the ultimate sacrifice of Jesus on the cross.
Well, I wonder if you were to look at the Hebrew or maybe Greek text, if the fear would translate more to reverence or fear. I just can't jive with the word fear, and I obviously, English is limited to usually one word for a word, and
Sure.
one word. We're so limited in English, where that verse in Hebrew may have, when it says that could easily have meant reverence or respect, because fear does nothing for me. Fear makes me want to rebel, run, and I would never want my son to obey me from fear. I want my son to be motivated.
And I understand that. I'm like, you can pick the word reverence if that's, if that feels better. But say if you have a healthy fear of something, if you know that you're like going to jump into the water, I'm not saying that you have a fear of the water, but you have a healthy understanding that if you don't know how to swim, that water can take you out. So you have a fear of knowing, like, oh, I have to be safe, or I know how to have to move. I need to know how to move in the water. I need to have a life vest. There's a healthy fear, and that's how I use that word, of understanding the relationship between you and the water.
Yeah.
So it's
I understand that.
With God,
that makes sense.
But, reverence, like, that's a great word to use, but the Bible does use the word fear, although again, it is translated, and there's so many different words in the Latin and Hebrew that we don't have all those words that they have. So
I know I used to have a Bible that was like a parallel Bible that had Greek like next to the English words. So I would look up there'd be a passage, and then over here the Greek was like actual, every word had, there's just, the English language is so limited to, especially for the words for love. Like, we have the word love, but even in French they have like so many, and in Greek there's like 13. There's like 13 words for love or something. Yeah. I know. Well, I love talking to you about this stuff, and this is kind of what we did on. This is what we did on set too, right? Is like, and I respect where you stand with it. Like, I feel like you and I stand in different places in our relationships with God, and there's no way that I feel like mine is right or yours is wrong, and I really, or vice versa. But I really acknowledge you for for standing in the face of non-agreement with the world, that, you know, it's you're being true to yourself and true to your faith, and it's very admirable, and I just want to acknowledge you for that. It's really special.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate it, Paul. I love these conversations, and I think I always get a little bummed out when well-meaning people can be super judgmental about it and legalistic. But like, I love talking about it. I love sharing, and I also understand that people have different perspectives and worldviews, but that doesn't stop me from loving and talking and sharing. And like, I love that. So I love that you were always open to talking about it, like, because I always talk about it. It's who I am. And not everyone I talk to is open to that. And I don't ever push it if someone isn't open to it. But I really appreciated that you were very open to just like, yeah, let's have the conversation. I love talking about it. We don't have to agree.
Because I love to learn. You know, I love to discover. And one of the things that about me that I know is I don't get fixed in a position of stubbornness, meaning like I'm open to hear and learn from somebody else, and then take it into my life and help add value to others through that. But we always straight up, let's talk about Jesus. You did. My mom's gonna love this conversation.
I know, I'm gonna have to save it somehow and then send it to you so your mom can see it. But like, I'm so happy. I just looked at the time. We've been on for almost an hour, so
this is crazy. We can say goodbye, and I'm really glad that we did this. I missed you. I miss you.
Too. I miss you too. So I hope that when you're out of quarantine and Mary Lou and I are out of quarantine, that we could maybe all have dinner, maybe with Aaron, whoever else. Like, let's all have dinner.
And I'll forget that you were there.
Yeah, you can. I was that memorable, Paul. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on filming and on your 9 books.
Congratulations on your book.
Thank you. And also your fitness. I mean, you don't even look 29. When was your 29th birthday?
I mean,
right? Look at your pipes.
Paul, when we were filming the movie, you brought out your little mat that you could walk on, and you were like, I love all your fitness stuff. So Paul and I connected on because he super loved fitness, and then he was open to talking about Jesus, and I'm like, you know what? This is a good co-star. This is a good guy.
That's right.
We're gonna have fun.
And remember how sick you were the first day or two? We came to look at the scripts, and you were like, oh, this is like, and then talk. But you're such a trooper. You just like the next day or maybe the day after, we were going. We were giving it. Sure.
That's right.
Well, so I love you lots.
I love you tons too.
We didn't get a chance to really talk to anybody.
I was looking at the comments. I think people enjoyed it. I hope you guys did. We still have a lot of people hanging in there, so we appreciate you guys joining. And who knows? Christmas Detour 2. Maybe that's coming up soon. Maybe next year.
Yeah, I would love that. We definitely have to do something together. I absolutely love working with you.
Me too.
Okay,
Okay, I'll see you on Instagram. Text anytime. Hang in there in quarantine. If you go crazy, like, text me and Mary Lou, because we will like talk you off the ledge.
Okay, great. I'm not off this ledge. I'm 40 stories up. And don't forget. No, not that. Don't forget when you hit the end, hit the download, and then it might be a big file, but we'll figure out a way. Maybe when we have dinner, you can airdrop it or something.
I'll do it, Paul. Got to send it to your mama.
Yeah, my mom would really like. She likes you for some reason.
Because she loves Jesus, and I love Jesus. So your mom and I.
That's right. Yeah, okay. I think so. All right. Take care.
Have a good night. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. This was awesome. I loved it. See you all later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, sweetie.